What I've had to learn throughout my life is that no matter what you try to hide or shove back away, you're eventually going to have to deal with it at some point in your life. And it's much easier to just go through it's going to be painful and uncomfortable to deal with it right away instead of trying to hide it more and more, because it catches up. Your lies catch up with you. The darkness will overcome and start to creep into whatever light you're trying to illuminate forward. So my hope and my prayer is that if any of us are in that place of holding on to this sliver of darkness, or holding on to lies, or holding on these things, is that you just open up your heart and say, let the Lord just transform it to bring you out of it. You're like, I just don't want to deal with it. Well, that's why we have each other. That's why we have the Lord, so we can walk through these things together, that we can walk out of the darkness into his light, and you're not going to feel alone. You're not going to feel judged. You're not going to feel attacked. Instead, you're going to say, you know what? This person is right next to me for a reason. They love me. They're here to help build me back to whatever it needs to be. And you're building that foundation of friendship upon the light of the Lord, so you're in the perfect place that you need to be. So my prayer is that you come out of this darkness, that we realize that we do need the help, and that's why we have a Savior. We can't continue being stuck in the darkness. You see, Christianity is not about disobedience and self-service. Christianity is the freedom of sin to obey Jesus, to walk in his light, to tell other people about his light. But we need to understand something. We can't continue going down the road of sinfulness, of sinning and using Jesus as our get-out-of-jail-free card. Because people will say, well, I thought Jesus will forgive us. Yeah, he will forgive you every single time. But you have to try to take the steps to continue growing and getting past the sin that you're stuck in. In Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26, it says this. Dear friends, if we deliberately continue sinning after we have received knowledge of the truth, there is no longer any sacrifice that will cover these sins. There is only the terrible expectation of God's judgment and the raging fire that will consume his enemies. To me, it doesn't sound like a good time. I don't want to be stuck in this area of continually disobeying God and going against his way and his will. If we continue sinning and walk away from God, how are we going to go to answer that? No matter how difficult the circumstance that you're in right now, you can make it through it.